Thanks for joining us. I'm Tracy Lehr. We begin your news channel with the historic announcement from President Joe Biden. Earlier today, the president said he's stepping away from his re-election efforts and endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. His decision came amid pressure from inside his party following last month's debate. The president said in part, quote, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term," end quote. The Democratic National Committee chair reacted this way.
I am emotional about the president's decision because this president, Joe Biden, has been a transformational president. He's been a great leader. He's a good man, a decent man who has done so much for this nation, but so much to see us as people, to value us, to fight for us.
This was a very difficult decision, and one that I think reflects the very best of who Joe Biden is. The challenge of seeing this moment and of recognizing what was in the best interest of the nation was a significant challenge. I still believe he could have beaten Donald Trump, but I also know that what he's done today is in the best interests of our nation.
Biden is the first president to drop out of a re-election bid since Lyndon Johnson in 1968, though Johnson did it months sooner. The president is slated to address the nation later this week. And after being endorsed by President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris came out with a statement of her own. Harris says she is honored by Biden's endorsement and says she will unite the nation, defeat Donald Trump, and quote his extreme Project 2025 agenda. After Biden's endorsement, more than $27 million in donations started pouring into Act Blue. Many Democrats quickly endorsed Harris, including Governor Gavin Newsom and the Clintons. But other Democrats, such as Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, have not yet endorsed anyone. With Harris at the top of the ticket, there is a long list of potential VP contenders. The Democratic National Convention begins Monday, August 19th. Time now for Sean Quinn. He's in our First Alert Weather Center. Sean.
Hi there, Tracy. Well, clear skies south of Point Conception for the most part. The marine layer is definitely lurking, even in areas where we don't see it on this map. But across the central coast, it looks like it's a bit thicker and pushing in across the coastal plain of Santa Maria. And as far as heat conditions, we know we got very, very warm and even downright hot today. We're expecting more of that as we head into tomorrow. So let's go ahead and hit the alert button. And there it is right there. We'll have basically a heat warning, and that means temperatures going up above about 105 possible, especially in the valleys and maybe lower foothills as you go farther inland. Along the coastline, there are some areas, though, where we could see some heat conditions as far as advisory levels. That would be mid to upper 90s going to very low 100s, and that can go right out to the beaches of some areas where, as long as you have a bit of a north wind, some of the sea breeze areas that get more northwest, they'll stay cool. You get those areas in the little nooks and crannies like Avila Beach, and you can get some of that energy coming out of the north more, and you can actually get very warm as you're sort of tucked in the corner there and not really getting the ocean influence. So when I come back, we'll talk about how the forecast, hopefully we'll lose this, but you'll notice the date right there. It is only the 21st, and it looks like we hold on to this for at least another 3 to 4 days. So details on the 7-day coming up.
All right, thank you for that. President Biden's news has shocked the country and here at home. Local representatives and voters shared their thoughts on the bombshell announcement. News Channel reporter Andy Lopez-Bornet has more.
President Joe Biden is officially out of the presidential race. The announcement comes just a few days after Trump gave his 92-minute speech at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. In a statement written on X from Biden, he states, quote, "I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term," end quote. Biden then posted to his X account his full support and endorsement to Kamala Harris. Local representatives react to the news, including Congressman Salud Carbajal, who issued a written statement saying, quote, "In one term as president of the United States, Joe Biden has achieved what most presidents in modern times could not. He has guided the United States of America back from the depths of a deadly pandemic and devastating economic downturn to create the strongest economy in the world," end quote. Like President Biden did on his social media page, Carbajal also endorsed Harris for the Democratic nominations. Both parties reacted to the news, including the chair of the Santa Barbara County GOP committee, Bobby McGinnis.
The news today was not surprising that Joe Biden is going to be stepping down, but what is surprising is that it didn't happen a lot sooner. For the Republican Party, our message is still the same. We want to bring back a safe America, a wealthy America, and we want to bring back a strong America. And the man to do that, the president to do that, is former President Donald Trump.
While the world reacts to the news from Biden today, I came to downtown Santa Barbara to hear what the locals had to say.
Oh, I didn't hear he dropped out.
I actually did not hear that. Oh, my goodness.
And while some local residents were finding out from us that Biden dropped out of the election, one of the questions I asked was, how will the election impact Santa Barbara County residents and businesses?
The question for me is, how will it impact the country? Will it unify us? And so if it unifies the country, it'll unify Santa Barbara.
I do believe if Kamala was in the seat, I do believe medication costs would be more at what they're at now, maybe going lower, possibly. I believe that if Trump was president, I don't think he'd really give a dang about my epilepsy medicine being expensive.
Former Santa Barbara County District Attorney Joyce Dudley shared her support to Kamala Harris as November approaches.
If our country gets to know the Kamala Harris that I know, they will want her to be president of the United States.
Dudley has known Kamala Harris for 15 years when there were 8 women district attorneys in California out of 58 counties. In Santa Barbara, I'm News Channel reporter Andy Lopez-Barnett.
Other elected officials released statements regarding the president's announcement and endorsement of Kamala Harris as the next Democratic nominee, such as Congresswoman Julia Brownley. She said in part, President Joe Biden will be remembered as one of the greatest presidents of our time. I know his decision to step aside was a difficult one, but as always, he put our country first. She said, I am more than proud to endorse Kamala Harris for President of the United States. State Senator Monique Limon said, quote, I am incredibly grateful to President Joe Biden for his decades of service to our country. He has delivered for working Americans and brought us out of unprecedented times. I know this decision was not made lightly and only further cements his legacy as a leader who puts the people in the country first for the betterment of all Americans. And State Assembly member Don Addis also told Your News Channel, quote, I thank President Joe Biden for his service to our nation. President Biden's leadership has made our country better and has given us hope. I look forward to the work that his administration continues to do and his ongoing commitment to all Americans. For the full statements, updates, and local coverage of the president's historic announcement, check out our mobile app or our website at KEYT.com.